An explosive revelation this evening. Deputy Minister of Finance Mcebisi Jonas confirms he was offered the top job by the Guptas to replace then Minister Nene. Chaos erupts in Zandspruit over service delivery and illegal electricity connections. Hello and welcome to it. You're watching eNews Direct. I'm Duduzile Ramela.
I'm Sandile Gangosa. Good evening.
To comment on any of our stories, you can find us on Twitter and Facebook. That's at eNews Direct.
And today's hashtags are Jonas and Zandspruit.
We start with this. A damning revelation this evening from Deputy Finance Minister Mcebisi Jonas. In it, he confirms the Gupta family offered him the position of Finance Minister to replace Nene.
Therefore, let me state the facts on the matter of whether I was approached by non-governmental individuals in respect of the position of Minister of Finance. Members of the Gupta family offered me the position of Minister of Finance to replace the then Minister Nene. I rejected this out of hand. The basis of my rejection of their offer is that it makes a mockery of our hard-earned democracy, the trust of our people, and no one apart from the President of the Republic appoints ministers. Let me also place on record that there was no discussion between the Deputy Secretary General of the African National Congress, Ms. Jessie Juwate, and myself on this matter. I've hesitated to speak out publicly on this matter until now, but I feel it is no longer possible to remain quiet. The primary concern to me is that this issue has a real danger of diverting away attention from the real and urgent challenges we face as a country.
Meanwhile, allegations by former MP Fakey Mentor concerning President Jacob Zuma and the Guptas took another turn today. Mentor has come out and forced detailing instances she worked with President Jacob Zuma following claims she was offered a ministerial post by the powerful family in 2010 with the president's knowledge. The presidency says it cannot comment on the alleged incidents as President Jacob Zuma does not remember her.
The presidency insists it has no recollection of Fakey Mentor after her startling claims on Facebook. But Mentor has hit back, listing the times she says she worked with President Jacob Zuma. She writes, "I chaired the ANC National Parliamentary Caucus when President Zuma was a deputy president. He sat next to me and spoke through me and with me in caucus each Thursday when Parliament was in session." The ANC says they take these allegations very seriously.
We're worried about state capture and the corporate capture. We are worried that is too frequent, that every day we read and learn about these allegations.
It's on the agenda at this weekend's National Executive Committee meeting. It's a potentially explosive issue, says this legal expert.
If this is true, then obviously there will have to be prosecution of the Guptas and of the president. If not, those who want to clear their names would have to take her to court.
Wherever the truth lies, the implications will be very serious for either Fakey Mentor or President Jacob Zuma. Malunge Lupui, Johannesburg.
Right, let's get you some analysis on this now. I'm joined in studio by our resident analyst, Angelo Fick. A very good evening to you and thank you so much for joining us. When Nene was replaced last year, the ruling party came out to say that the president has the right to appoint and disappoint. And here we sit today with the Guptas having offered Mr. Jonas a job. What does this mean for President Jacob Zuma?
Well, it means that in certainly the mind of the deputy minister who was being offered the job, there was credibility to the offer because it isn't being presented to us as a dinner party joke. I, for example, should I walk into a shop and offer somebody a ministerial position in government, would be laughed out for having either made a joke or being delusional. The way in which we are being told by the governing party that the president makes these decisions and that behind the scenes there are these offers made to individuals is certainly of concern. It is incumbent upon the president immediately to explain how it is that these people continuously rise up in conversations, making offers and implicating him in actions that they perform, going all the way back to the Waterkloof Air Force Base landing, in which his name was also invoked as being the person who gave the permission for them to land.
In his statement, Mr. Jonas elaborates, and I read, "I have hesitated to speak out publicly on this matter until now, but I feel it is no longer possible to remain quiet." Could this be one of many more where we see it started with Fakey Mentor and now Mr. Jonas? Can we expect more people to come out and say, well, the Guptas also offered me a job?
Well, even if they weren't being offered particular cabinet positions, compromising conversations may have been had, in which case these people now have all sorts of reasons to come out and speak about those conversations. I suspect this also has no doubt some relationship to the impending changing dynamic in the ANC with the leadership conference in 2017, but also that we have a constitutional court judgment coming back any day now in relation to the February events. So there are all sorts of dynamics going on, but as Minister or Deputy Minister Jonas indicated, part of his response here is his duty to the Constitution, his loyalty to the party whom he serves and continues to serve, and his absolute insistence that for ethical reasons he's putting the country first, and it is in his view absolutely essential to clarify this. And now the question is, can this be clarified across the board from all members of government involved?
So much more to unpack about this, but time is our enemy. Thank you very much, Angelo Fick, for helping us make sense of all these revelations coming out today. Let's just focus on to other news. Suspended IPID head Robert McBride says he will prove the case against him is driven by conspiracy. McBride maintains the charges are driven by a plot against former Hawks boss Anwar Dramat. He and his co-accused Innocent Kuba and Matthew Sisoko have been charged with tampering with an IPID report into the 2010 illegal rendition of suspected Zimbabwean criminals. They are accused of excluding evidence that implicated then Dramat in wrongdoing. Kuba has stated under oath that the case against Dramat was defined by secrecy, political interference and false evidence. He also claims a Hawks officer promised he'd be acquitted and get his job back. That's if he turned on McBride, a conversation he's recorded. McBride and his co-accused are due back in court in April. It's been a day of violent clashes in Zandspruit, north of Johannesburg. Residents went on the rampage when illegal electricity connections were removed. Rather, they brought traffic to a standstill. Police have made several arrests.
Angry residents filled the main road outside Zandspruit, setting alight tires and mattresses. When police arrived, they fired rubber bullets and stun grenades, trying to control the crowds. But it hasn't deterred community members. They vandalized nearby buildings and looted shops. The residents say they want proper electricity connections.
About illegal connection, yes. We know there are illegal connections, but we need electricity.
Earlier, Eskom removed all illegal connections in the area. The power utility says they'd resulted in several deaths. But the community has refused to back down. Police have made several arrests.
Today we have arrested 6 suspects for malicious damage to property as well as public violence.
Despite the escalating violence, Zandspruit residents say they will continue to protest until their demands are met.
The IEC says the recent Tlokwe court ruling will prevent local government elections from being held by the August deadline. Last month, the Electoral Court forced the IEC to postpone the Tlokwe by-elections after it found 4,000 people on the voters' roll had no addresses. The IEC wants the Constitutional Court to overturn the decision. Last month, independent candidates from Tlokwe in Potchefstroom convinced the court that the lack of addresses allows for irregularities to occur. They say this will see people voting in wards they're not registered in. In 2013, over 1,000 people who were ineligible to do so voted in the Tlokwe by-elections. However, the IEC says it could take 4 years to implement the order, as it has to verify the addresses of over 16 million people. A quick look at world news now, and a terrorism suspect shot dead in a raid in a Brussels suburb yesterday has been identified as an Algerian national. Belgian police are still hunting 2 other suspects. The raid was linked to an investigation into the November attacks in Paris that killed 130 people. A 21-year-old American student has been sentenced to 15 years hard labor in North Korea for crimes against the state. Otto Wambia was arrested in January for trying to steal a sign with a political slogan from a hotel. He later appeared on state television, apparently confessing to the crime. The sentencing comes a day after a veteran U.S. diplomat met North Korean officials at the United Nations to lobby for the student's release. Remember, you can have a say on any of our stories. You can follow us on social media, on our social media pages on Twitter and Facebook. That's at eNews Direct, or head on over to our website. That's eNCA.com/direct. And
Duduzile is standing by with all of your social media.
thank you so much, Sandile. And a lot is happening on social media. With everything that's going on, Guptas, Nkandla, SARS, Godan, Hawks, ratings downgrade, and others. In our poll today, we asked you what you think of South Africa's current state of affairs. And here are your answers. 10% of respondents voting it's a passing phase, while 72% say that it is a sign of a decay. 12% being a little bit more optimistic, saying that South Africa will emerge stronger, while 6% simply unfazed, asking, so what? Well, more bad news that we continue with on social media. FIFA today gave South Africa a red card for paying $10 million to host the 2010 World Cup. Some on Twitter suggest FIFA is deflecting attention from its own issues, while others say it was only a matter of time. Remember, you can have a say on any of our stories. Do find us on Twitter and Facebook. That's at eNews Direct, or head on over to our website. That's eNCA.com/direct. After the break, we have your business news as well as your weather forecast. Do stay with us. Welcome back. Money Matters now, and Moody's credit rating agency is in the country for a review as it decides whether to downgrade South Africa's credit rating. The local economy is set to weaken to near 0% growth this year. And as the finance minister looks to roll up his sleeves, the task at hand may be interrupted by a Hawks investigation that's creating massive uncertainty. Moody's will be reviewing how government's policies can stabilize the economy and decide whether to downgrade South Africa to one level above junk status. And with that, let's see how the markets perform today. Let's check in with the Weather Center now. Here's Candice.
Overcast weather and thunderstorms settled in across South Africa on Wednesday. Now tomorrow we'll see that band of thunderstorms moving eastward, bringing in the possibility of heavy rain and low-class flooding over Gauteng, parts of Mpumalanga, Limpopo and the northwest. Thundershowers will extend all the way through to the east coast, as well as one or two still popping up over the central interior. Dry as we head further west with a light onshore breeze, bringing in the possibility of fog along the west coast. You'll see cloudy, wet and cooler weather over the western part of KwaZulu-Natal, with thundershowers extending all the way through to the coast, where we can expect a warm Thursday afternoon. Isolated thundershowers are forecast over the eastern part of the Eastern Cape, dry and warmer in the west, with a dry forecast throughout the Western Cape. Highs peak in the mid-20s for the Southern Cape coastline, as well as for Cape Town, where we can expect a mostly cloudy day, and that's largely due to the fog along the west coast. Predominantly dry throughout the Northern Cape, other than one or two thundershowers over the extreme eastern parts. You'll start to see temperatures recovering from the west as that band of widespread thunderstorms moves eastward, affecting Harrismith and Welkom. You'll also see widespread thunderstorms and a watch for heavy rainfall over the eastern part of the northwest, with most of the thunderstorms expected over the southern part of Limpopo on Thursday. Polokwane with a mild day at 23 degrees. We keep in the low 20s for the Mpumalanga Highveld, where widespread thunderstorms are forecast, and there's a watch for the possibility of heavy rainfall. A similar day as we head towards Gauteng, with cloudy, wet and cool weather in store, widespread thunderstorms and a watch for heavy rain, as well as the possibility of low-class flooding. We'll see cloudy and wet weather weather for Polokwane and Bombela on Friday still, with a few thundershowers for Gauteng and KwaZulu-Natal. A cold front brings in some rain in the afternoon for Cape Town and George, as well as some morning rain still on Saturday. And then we're expecting rain all the way through to Richards Bay, with some rain in the forecast over the extreme northeastern parts, but things dry out for Gauteng. That's all from the Weather Centre for now. Have a great night.
Thank you, Candice. After the break, we catch up with the visually impaired boy from Cape Town who scooped a prestigious international award for essay writing. And we end with some positive news. A visually impaired boy from Cape Town is proving that having a disability does not have to stop you from achieving greatness.
Well, that is inspiring. He's just returned from the Big Apple, where he's been awarded a first prize for an essay contest.
A celebratory welcome back. 12-year-old Joel Greek returns from New York a winner, and his peers from the Athlone School for the Blind couldn't be more proud. Joel, who is partially blind, was awarded first prize in the Lions Club International Essay Contest in New York, beating entries from over 100 countries.
How do you feel having won this award?
I am so grateful, and there's no words to say. It's like been a lifetime reading and writing short stories.
You made our school proud and everyone proud in the school. Thank you, Joel.
I want to say congratulations to Joel.
The theme for the 500-word essay was Share Peace. Joel says he drew inspiration from role models such as Anne Frank, Nkosi Johnson and other courageous young people who have brought about change.
I want to inspire other children, not just with disabilities, but all children, just that it doesn't matter how young you are or what people say, you can make the world a better place.
Joel's mother, who accompanied him on his travels, says it wasn't always an easy road for Joel.
He developed a tumor when he was a baby, and it caused pressure on his optic nerve, which caused the sight to go in the one eye.
Besides bragging rights, Joel also won $5,000, which he says will be going into savings for future plans. Tanya Neft, Cape Town.
A reminder of the day's top stories before we say goodbye. Deputy Minister of Finance, Mcebisi Jonas, has confirmed he was offered the top job by the Guptas to replace then Minister Nhlanhla Nene. However, the Gupta family has since responded, challenging Jonas to provide a full account of the supposed meeting under oath. It's also accusing Jonas of attempting to cover up and divert attention away from his own relationships and practices. And that's a wrap from the eNews Direct team.
It is indeed. Up next, Rhythm City.
Remember, you can share your views with us. Send us an email to enewsdirect@etv.co.za.
Until tomorrow, good night.